And you guys are live.
Okay, thank you. We'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the previously held meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thanks. All those signify by saying aye. Those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Hearing none, we will assume those are approved. We'll move on to the list of regular legislation. I'd like to direct everyone's attention to item number 1 through and including 3. I will request time, refer those particular items that will be up for public hearing at a later date. Item number 4 is the authorizing the execution of a development agreement with industrial commercial properties or its designee, providing for the acquisition, sale, and redevelopment of property located at 2000 Britton Road. Finding such property is not needed for public use at this time. Previously, this council approved legislation reference to zoning. This is also known as Chapel Hill Mall, obviously, or at least the majority of this is. It's Chapel Hill Mall. We approved the zoning last week. We also approved a Chapel Hill redevelopment plan. What this is an agreement for 60 acres of the area known as Chapel Hill Mall. It is also, this affords us the opportunity, the developers will invest approximately $20 million in the project and site acquisition cost. Construction expected to begin hopefully in the spring of this year. Hoping to have up to 400 people working at this particular location. The initial TIF stream of 1.5 million net present value will be assigned to the Akron 2000 Britton Road LLC and Akron Chapel Hill LLC, the developer. So we had forwarded this agreement to everyone on council last week. Entertained questions, of which we did receive some, got back and answered those questions. I'm going to open it up though for if there's any questions or comments from anyone on the committee at this time. Any questions or comments? Okay, anyone on council have any questions or comments? Reference the execution of a development agreement for the Chapel Hill Mall area. Any questions or comments? I'm not seeing anyone.
Councilman Fusco, Councilman Malik has his hand raised.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Malik.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank the administration, particularly Ms. Roth and Mr. Bullman, as well as I believe Mr. Martin from the developer for providing some feedback and answering some of my questions. I know that the exact picture of what the development will look like is not totally clear right now, and I know as with rolling acres, it's never necessarily easy to improve something when all the details are not clear, but I appreciate the forthcoming information from everyone. So look forward to this development and some new success up there at Chapel Hill.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments from anyone at this time? Questions or comments? Okay, I'm not seeing any, unless I'm missing something. Short of that, I will entertain a motion for suspension of the rules with a favorable report on item number 4 under the new list of, or the old list of legislation. Motion?
So move.
That's for suspension. Favorable report in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Against? Hearing none, very good. The ayes have it, it's unanimous. We will now move on the balance of the agenda. We'll request time on 5, 6, and 7. And item number 8 is authorizing conditional use to retain a fence within the front yard setback area at 656 Oxford Avenue. Last Monday, we had a public hearing on this particular fence within the setback. And we had heard from the planning department as well as the planning commission, and I believe that their recommendation was adverse. Is there anyone having any comments or questions reference this particular one? Any questions or comments? Okay, I'm not seeing. Okay, I do see Phil Lombardo's hand up. Mr. Lombardo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I'm just agreeing with the planning department here that that fence is an obstruction to the neighborhood and should be removed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Thank you. So we've heard from the Planning Commission, the Planning Department, as well as the Ward Council person, and that this is in fact a detriment to the neighborhood as well as the visibility for motorists in that area. I would like to, if there are any other questions or comments at this time? Any questions or comments? Okay, not hearing any on this particular fence. Is there a request for an adverse report from any of the committee members? Is there a motion for an adverse report?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, for an adverse report.
Adverse report, suspension of the rules would be the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, very good. All those in favor of an adverse report with suspension of the rules, please signify by saying aye.
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 Against? Okay, very good. Hearing none, we'll move on to the balance of the agenda. We'll request an adverse report this evening at 7 o'clock. Items number 9 and 10, I will request time on. Item number 11 is in fact that petition for conditional use that we had just voted on Oxford. So I will request that the committee file that particular item. And we will then, on the balance of the agenda, request time other than item number 23. This is a petition, I believe, whose time has come. We're working on 10 years. There was a problem with regards to this particular item way back when. It's been on the agenda for some time, dating back many years. It's a petition for conditional use for a rooming house at 460 South Maple Street. This was tied up in the law department. And so with that, I believe it's now freed up in terms of the law department. There was never a public hearing on it. I believe that we would work with the petitioner if they would so desire. We did file this, though, the actual conditional use request some time ago. This is just simply the petition. So with that, I'd like to entertain a motion that we file item number 23.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of filing 23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, against? Very good. The ayes have it. We'll now move on to the new list of legislation, of which we have one item. This is ordinance approving the sale of city-owned property located at 14th Street Southwest pursuant to the city's Lot for Low program in order to facilitate productive reuse of the property and to reduce the cost to the city and the taxpayers in maintaining vacant lots. Mr. Westcott, I believe you're here for this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Councilman Fusco and Akron City Council members. The city is the owner of our property at 14th Street Southwest. The city proposes to sell this property for $177. The lot is not needed for municipal purposes. Selling the lot will divest the city of the property and will no longer need to maintain. We ask your approval for the sale of this lot.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments reference item number 1 on the planning regular agenda. Questions or comments? Mr. Westcott, is the consent agenda okay on this?
Yes, sir. That's fine.
Very good. It doesn't seem as though time is of the essence. So with that, I would certainly like to hear a motion for consent agenda on item number 1.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion for consent agenda, please.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
second for consent agenda. All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Against? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, short of anything else coming up before this committee, we're adjourned in 10 minutes. So light day today, folks. At least for
Our
planning.
next committee meeting will be at 2 o'clock, and that'll be the Public Service Committee. Thanks.